Hey guys, Dave from Revocation again. For this lesson, I wanted to talk about a song off our new record entitled Labyrinth of Eyes. Now this song's got a lot of really weird riffs in it, a lot of chromaticism going on, some octave displacement stuff, and a lot of cool picking patterns. So yeah, I think you guys will enjoy it. So this verse riff here is starting off on G sharp. It's basically in the key of G sharp with a lot of just pull-offs and weird chromatic notes. So I'm skipping over the A string, going right to the D string, 3rd fret, pulling off to the open D, and then hitting the 4th fret on my G string here. So then I'm doing this pattern that's the same on both the G and the D string. I'm going 3, 4, pull off, 3, 4, pull off, and then 3rd fret on the A string. So the whole thing. So it's got some string skipping, it's got some pull-offs, and it's got a lot of weird chromatic things happening. Then, when it goes to the next riff, starting on B here, and I'm basically doing, so if you look at it like down the octave, is all that's really happening there. But I find that when you displace something up an octave, it just makes the riff sound that much cooler and interesting sometimes. So I'm taking the notes C and B flat, and then open B. And I'm really trying to have those notes sort of ring out almost to give a little bit of dissonance there to the resolution. And it's the same thing there when I go to the second half of the riff. I'm sliding up from the B note on my A string to C, and then I have B flat and open B, so I get this. But again, I'm taking these two notes and moving them up the octave. So it's got some string skipping stuff and some more chromatic things happening to add to the dissonance and the just sort of weird alien sounding nature of the riff. So the key to these riffs here is palm meeting the low notes, and then lifting up your palm just ever so slightly so the upper notes ring out and sound more open. So you get this contrast of palm muted notes and then open notes. It's the same thing for the other riff. I'm palm muting on this A string here, and then I'm opening up on the B and G string. So those dissonances can really ring out. If I was palm muting, those notes would be deadened and they wouldn't ring out together. So, finding that interplay between the palm muted notes and the open notes is really what makes this riff tick. So this riff is going back and forth between two keys. First, an A flat, sort of major 7 Lydian sound, and then a C major Lydian sound. The cool thing about this riff is I'm not actually playing the root note with what the guitar is doing. The bass is actually laying that down. So when you're writing, don't feel like you always have to throw the root note in the chord. A lot of times the bass player can do that, and that'll allow you to add other different types of tensions and play some chord shapes that don't rely on having to revolve around the root. So here's how I'm picking it. I'm going up the chord from the A string to D string. Then I'm going down the chord from the G string down to the A string. And then I'm letting this chord ring out. So it's 4th fret here, open string, 6th fret. Then I keep these two notes the same, and I just move my index finger down a half step, giving it that major to the augmented 4th there, that Lydian sound. And I just take that same pattern and essentially move it up. So when I'm going to C, it's the same shape, but just instead of on the 3rd fret, I'm playing it on the 7th fret. So, and I'm letting those 3 notes ring out against that bass note. The only difference is here, I'm using a little hybrid picking there. So I'm descending on the B, G, and D strings, then I'm going to the high E with a pluck, and then back to, so. Is the pattern there. So here's the descending part of the second half of the riff, super slow, so you guys can really see what I'm doing. So I'm picking it and then I'm plucking that top note. So a little bit of hybrid picking in there, but most of it's picked. So the last riff that we're going to talk about in this lesson is a transitional riff that brings you back to the verse. This riff's got some string skipping stuff, really chromatic and dissonant. It's got some open strings, and I think it just sounds really cool. So hope you guys dig it. So this riff is in the key of G, but it's basically this chromatic line with G flat, G, and G sharp. So I'm starting off from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret. And then here, I'm going to this G flat, but I'm having an open G string, so you get G sharp, G flat, and G all ringing out. So, but displaced up the octave, which just sounds really cool, ringing out, super dissonant. And then back down. It goes to the G again. And then here, now I've got G flat, G, G flat, G sharp. So just stacking dissonance on top of dissonance. Back to the first time. And then the turnaround, I'm going up a tritone from G, back down to G. And then on the low 7th string here, 4th fret, 3, 4, 3. And then the next riff starts on the 4th fret, back to the first verse.